I'll never forget the day we moved into that apartment in Seattle's Ballard neighborhood, October 2004. My husband, Bill, and I were newlyweds, buzzing with excitement for our new life together. I was deep into my graduate studies, juggling textbooks and late-night coffee runs, while Bill, a contractor, was always tinkering with something. The apartment seemed like a dream, quaint, cozy, tucked into a quiet corner of the city. Sure, it was under renovation, the previous tenant having apparently bolted in a hurry, leaving behind half-painted walls and a faint, musty smell. Bill had a bad feeling about it from the start, a tightness in his jaw as we toured the place, but I brushed it off. We were young, in love, and ready for a fresh start. What could go wrong? The first few nights were fine, just the usual creaks of an old building settling. But soon, I started to feel it, a prickle on the back of my neck, like someone was watching me. It wasn't just a feeling, it was a presence, heavy and unyielding, lurking in the corners of our home. I'd catch glimpses of shadows darting just out of sight, like smoke slipping through my fingers when I turned to look. At first, I chalked it up to stress. Grad school was brutal, and maybe my mind was playing tricks. But the unease grew, gnawing at me. I started avoiding being alone in the apartment, lingering at the library until Bill got home. The air felt thick, oppressive, like it was pressing down on my chest. I tried to tell Bill, but it was hard to put into words. It's just, I feel like we're not alone here, I'd say, my voice trembling. He'd pull me close, his calloused hands steadying me, and tell me it was just the new place, the new life. You're tired, I see, he'd say, his brow furrowed with concern. But I could see the doubt in his eyes, and it drove a wedge between us. We started snapping at each other, little arguments over nothing, the tension coiling tighter with every passing day. I hated it. I hated how scared I was, how I couldn't explain the cold dread that settled in my bones every time I stepped through the door. Then, things got worse. One night, I saw it, a dark figure, tall and shapeless, standing at the foot of our bed. My heart stopped. My scream caught in my throat. It wasn't just a shadow. It was solid, real, radiating malice. I grabbed Bill's arm, shaking him awake, but by the time he sat up, it was gone. He didn't see it, but I could tell he was rattled. A few nights later, we both saw something else, a teenage boy, pale and hollow-eyed, standing in the hallway. His mouth moved like he was trying to speak, but no sound came out. His eyes... God, his eyes were pleading, desperate, like he was trapped in some endless torment. Bill saw him too, and for the first time, I saw fear in my husband's face. We couldn't ignore it anymore. I was jumping at every creak, every flicker of light. Bill, usually so steady, started checking the locks obsessively. We reached out to the Washington State Ghost Society, desperate for answers. Shannon Sedman, their lead investigator, came to our apartment, her face calm but serious. She told us to document everything, every shadow, every sound, every moment that made our skin crawl. So we did. I kept a journal, scribbling down every incident with shaking hands, while Bill set up a cheap camcorder in the living room. For a while, it was quiet, like whatever was haunting us had slunk back into the shadows. But it didn't last. The attacks came back, fiercer than before. Objects would move, keys sliding across the counter, doors creaking open on their own. One night, I felt something grab my wrist, cold and impossibly strong, yanking me toward the dark hallway. I screamed, thrashing, until Bill pulled me away. That was the breaking point. We fled the apartment that night, hearts pounding, barely grabbing our coats as we stumbled into the cold Seattle rain. We didn't care about the lease, the deposit, anything. We just had to get out. Shannon and her team dug into the building's history. What they found chilled me to the core. The area had a violent past, tied to gang activity decades ago. Murders, disappearances, pain soaked into the very ground where our apartment stood. The renovations, they said, might have stirred something up, like shaking a wasp's nest. They couldn't prove anything supernatural. No smoking gun, no ghostly Polaroid. But they believed us. That was enough. We weren't crazy. We moved out as soon as we could, finding a new place far from Ballard. Bill graduated college not long after, and we tried to rebuild, to put the nightmare behind us. But it changed us. I can't walk into a room now without scanning the corners, waiting for a shadow to move. Bill doesn't talk about it, but I see it in the way he grips my hand a little tighter at night. We learned something in that apartment. Something dark and unexplainable lives in this world, hiding in plain sight. And once you felt its gaze, you never stop looking over your shoulder.